In this video, we'll quickly go over the homework sheet for properties of quadratic relations. So basically, we're just looking at three graphs and talking about the key features you see for each graph. So vertex for the first one, negative 1, 9, optimal value is a y-coordinate of the vertex. So if the vertex is negative 1, 9, the optimal value must be 9. And if you know the vertex is negative 1, 9, you also know that the axisymmetry is x equals negative 1. X-intercept's not much to say. Just look at the graph. It's clearly opening down. Possible values of y. Well, the y-coordinates have to be less than or equal to the y-coordinate of the vertex. So since the y-vertex is 9, so all these other values must be less than 9, okay? The y-coordinates of all these other points have to be less than 9, so we're going to say that the y values are less than or equal to 9. For my next parabola, basically the same thing. The hardest thing I would say is what the possible y values are. So if you look at this graph, the y values are greater than or equal to 0. Because this is the least possible y value and it's opening up, so y is going to be greater than or equal to 0. So for my third parabola, really not much to say, but the possible values for y here is less than or equal to negative 1. I would highly recommend you to just look at the graph of the parabola to determine what the possible values of y are. Okay, and I'll give you another hint. This number here, whether it's less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, has to be the y-coordinate of the vertex, because it's either the y-coordinate of the vertex is either the least possible value or the greatest possible value. So that will really dictate what is possible for y. And one more thing I want to mention is that these three graphs really display the three possible scenarios you can see later on, which is a parabola with 2 x-intercepts, a parabola with 1 x-intercept, and a parabola with no x-intercepts. But yeah, aside from that, just be comfortable with finding the vertex and all the other key features. But I would argue the vertex of the parabola is the most important point of a quadratic relationship. Be very comfortable with that idea, and the idea that a parabola is always symmetrical.